I was getting angry. I couldn't watch anything because I would get angry at the fact that it felt like people were already talking about him in the past tense. It bothered the hell out of me. It was like already telling like, oh, I remember when we were in the locker room. I'm like, why are they talking about this cat like he ain't here?
All right. In 3, 2. Welcome. This is another edition of the Pharaohs Club podcast, coming to you live from Washington, D.C. It's your host, that man with the most, Mean, the dream from the Chi-Town Green, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just going to start off, this is our podcast number 6. I'm going to start off with the introductions of our good brothers and participants of the podcast. First, broadcasting live from Columbus, Ohio, the good brother Jason Fears. Next, I got my brother Manasseh Thornton, broadcasting live from the warm weather of, I'm going to say Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, but we could just call it Miami, yayo. You know what I'm saying? And then next, the number one screenwrite production executive producer and black-owned business owner with the actual, I want to say the architect of the podcast, Mr. Louis Eugene Brooks, broadcasting live from Hollyweird, as Lo says, but Hollywood.
G Jizzle.
And then next, I got my boy from the Nasty Natty, you know what I'm saying, representing the Red Legs, you know, my man Mylo Hodges. And finally, bringing up the anchor, the rear, my man broadcasting from, I want to say, Bowie, Maryland, DMV area, Lester Dale McKinnley.
Peace and love.
All right. So today we're just going to kick off some topics. Let's just kick it off. It is February 1st, the start of Black History Month. And unfortunately, we had some tragic news dealing with one of the all-time greats in basketball, if not the greatest. And I think it's warranted that we give him a talk about the death, the legacy, and the influence of Kobe Bryant. First of all, I'm just going to give some aspects of the impact he had to basketball, the impact he had on the world, and the impact that he had just on the community of Los Angeles. For the past couple of days, man, you can see all the love and the actual, I want to say, how much they cherish that brother, even though he was a brother from Philadelphia. You know, he came into the NBA from high school. You know, he had aspirations of being the greatest basketball player of all time. And he also just showed the world how hard you can work and achieve, you know, your dream if you put your mind to it. I think the death of Kobe was probably the most tragic thing that I've ever seen in my lifetime. My parents talk about, you know, the death of Martin Luther King and, you know, the death of JFK and other, you know, I guess matriarchs or patriarchs of their era. And for me, being a 43-year-old man, this was probably one of the worst tragedies I've ever seen in my life. So it impacted me heavily. I had to tap out for a couple of days. You know, I didn't even talk to my parents for about a day because it just affected me so bad. Me being a basketball fan, one, and then me thinking about his family and his kids and his wife, and then the impact he had on the city of Los Angeles. I'm gonna let Fears chime in and give his thoughts. Again, we don't want to just restrict the time of talking about Kobe because Kobe deserves every time and every moment that we talk about him. Fees, what are your thoughts on Kobe's NBA legacy and influence?
Well, first, I just want to shout out not only Kobe and Gianna, but I want to shout out the other 7 that were also on the plane. The baseball coach, his wife, his daughter, the pilot, the other 2 players. I can imagine, you know, what they must be going through. and it's not getting talked about. They're not being viewed as such. I mean, it's just the way that it is. But definitely shout out to those families and everybody that was affected by that. But I mean, yeah, this was devastating. I mean, I know, like Mean said, it's 43. We've had a lot of tragedies and people go down. I think, honestly, the only other time, as far as someone in the light, in the famous light, I should say, that hit me like that for whatever reason was Aaliyah. That one hurt me real bad. And this is probably the next one that hit me probably a little bit more. And I wasn't per se a Kobe fan. I was a basketball fan, and I grew to actually respect Kobe and what he evolved into, the type of player that he evolved into the type of man that he evolved into. And that's kind of really what drew me into him, was his basketball prowess and his basketball knowledge and IQ was self-explanatory. But I like to focus on how he really dove into his family later in his career, and you could kind of see that became his priority. And as a man of 3 children, 2 daughters specifically, one is 15, so she was only 2 years older than Gianna. And so, I mean, it just kind of hit me a little harder. And I didn't expect that. Like, Kobe Bryant, like I said, was another basketball player to me, a great basketball player, but it didn't hit me until this happened, of how important that he was to me, because I was messed up and it threw me off. But shout out to his family, shout out to Vanessa and the kids and what they have to, the chore that she has ahead of her. I know she has a great support system, but just I can only imagine inside those walls what she goes. So just shout out to Kobe and everybody else who was a Kobe fan, and just a father out there of not just daughters but just kids, period. You never want to see your kids buried. So that's my piece.
I respect that, brother. Hey, you really touched on the fact that the daughters are really going to be impacted by this, man, and that's just sad, man. Not being able to grow up with a father in the household, man. That really impacts, especially, I mean, not just daughters, but just kids in general. I mean, the father's just the anchor that holds the house down. Again, him and Gigi had a very deep relationship when it came to basketball. You can tell she wanted to be like her dad, man. But I'm gonna throw it over to Nas, because I know Nas gives some great insight. Nas, do you agree or disagree that this is one of the greatest tragedies of our lifetime? And what are your other thoughts about Kobe?
I do agree. I think that one of the things that we have to take into account is back in the day, like you said, Jay, as far as like Martin Luther King and some of these other greats that were taken away from us in tragic fashion, we now have the internet and social media, which brings us with this 24-hour news cycle that brings us so much closer to the people that we find in entertainment, that that we follow in their lives. And so, unlike back in the day where things were kind of taboo or maybe like rumors, like we see these people grow up in front of us. Like we kind of grow together. Watching Kobe come into the league at 17, like we knew his story. We knew all about him, everything about him, like the things that he liked, the interviews, like all of the things that, most people wouldn't know about another person unless they were family or close friends. We know about these celebrities and stuff. And so I definitely think that it hits harder for a lot of us when someone passes away, because we do know a lot more about them than we do normally. So that's one thing that I think stood out to me, is just like, the impact that he has worldwide based off of media alone. People have never met this guy or anything, and it feels like you lost a cousin or a brother or something. So I also was, really been out of shape for a couple of days as a father, as a son, as a husband. All of those things play a part in these things when you know that life is so fragile. But it takes a tragedy for you to be jarred out of your normal everyday, routine. A couple of things that stood out to me as well about Kobe is his pursuit of perfection. You can't deny that this guy just prepared himself to be great. even if, you know, he didn't know he was going to be great or not, but the preparation to be great was undeniable. In his pursuit of excellence, like to the point of almost at fault. Like he didn't care who he ran over with that pursuit of excellence. If you weren't in line with that, if you weren't trying to win, if you weren't trying to be excellent, you weren't on his wavelength. He didn't have nothing to say to you. Whether you were a teammate, whether you were a coach, it didn't matter. He was on his way. His trajectory was excellence. And you can't do anything but appreciate that. Now, we all know that he was flawed because he was human, and we're all flawed. So the other part of the story for me is just the ability to be imperfect. Like the dude had to live out this real crazy, you know, indiscretion in front of the world. His wife, who, you know, has gone through so much dealing with this and dealing with being a wife of somebody so loved and powerful. You know, just shout out to her, and heartfelt love and energy goes out to them and the family to lose a husband and a daughter. All of those things play a part in this, but he was able to pull himself up from that tragedy and live this second life. Like, you know, show people that, yeah, I'm imperfect, but none of us are perfect. So just live the best you can and try to do the best you can. And he did that through philanthropy and through that, you know, the smile that he gave to children and just, you know, going out of his way to try to help people. That's just an amazing kind of a story. So no, he wasn't perfect. No, none of us are, but, you know, yes, this is one of the great tragedies of our time.
Man, I think people got to get the fuck out of here bringing up his tragedies, man. Like his tragedy, bringing up the Denver situation, man. I mean, because that shit happened so long ago. I mean, and I don't want to sound insensitive to women who've been raped or sexually abused or anything, but you know what I'm saying? Like in the wake of this tragedy, man, I just feel like that's just like you ain't got a soul to bring up that past or that incident in light of what this tragedy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, dude, like Kobe's riding for the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Like he's got 4 daughters. You know what I'm saying? He died he died being a dad to his daughter, taking his daughter to practice, taking his daughter to a practice at a facility that he built so that he could spend more time with his daughter, with his kids. You know, so I just feel like that shit is just ass, man. When people try to bring up that shit, I don't like it. It's completely, it's disrespectful. I just hate it. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, man. That was on my heart, man. I just needed to say.
No, you're fine. You're fine. It's actually good, Dale, that you chimed in, because I was going to transition to you and Lo. So Lo,
hold on, I still got something to say.
I'm sorry, my fault, my bad. Go ahead, Dale. Finish off.
Still got something to say. This hurted me to my core, man. This hurted me to my core, and I'm trying not to get emotional talking about it because I've really been hiding from it. Like I can't watch all of the tributes and everything in its entirety because it hits home. His youngest daughter is the same age of my youngest daughter. My youngest daughter is 6 months. His is 7 months, and then his next to oldest is like 3 or 4. Same age as my daughter, my oldest daughter. My oldest daughter, her nickname is Gigi. And that shit just, man, like it's something about with tragedies now. It's, to me, like whenever like any type of like tragedy hits, anything, all I can think about are kids, innocent children. And I think it hits me now more than ever because I have kids. Before, when I didn't have kids, it didn't impact. I mean, you know, stuff would make me sad, but now it really fucks with me. Like it really, really, really fucks with me. And all I can think about is those last moments. You know what I'm saying? Because as I don't know about you all, but I pray to God every day as a father. My prayer is for God to bless me to be able to protect, provide, and position. Those are my principles. And I pray to God that I never, ever fail. And dog, to be in those last moments and not be able to protect your child, man, like, man, that shit hurts. Like, you know, to have to tell her it's going to be okay, but you know it ain't going to be okay.
Right.
it does something to my soul, man. So, but much respect to Kobe. That man was, I mean, what I was so moved by what he did post basketball.
Right.
Like what Naz was saying, like that he practiced like excellence. He believed in hard work and doing what you love to do. And I think that it spoke volumes to the success that he had after basketball. You know, he won an Oscar, and he won an Oscar, an Emmy. I don't know the other awards, G, but he won all kinds of like cinematic awards that I know that you could speak to. But he did the stuff that takes people lifetimes to achieve. Like he did that. He did that in a matter of years, man. So I think that it's unfortunate because his legacy now is going to be his death is going to trump what we actually idolized him for, and that was being an exceptional ball player, one of the greatest. You know, when you Google Kobe 20 years from now, you know, instead of, you know, seeing all of the highlights and, you know, all of the things that, you know, that he was going to be remembered for anyway, he's going to be remembered by this. And I just think that that's crazy. And this stuff, it makes me, it's scary, man, because Kobe was just hitting his stride, man. Like 41, like 40. That's my dream. Like I have a 5-year plan, and by my 40s, I plan to be set up. I plan to be able to be in control of my time, to be able to spend all this time that I want with my children, to be able to come and go as I please, to just be able to live and enjoy life. And just as that brother was hitting his stride, man, it took him, you know, he was taken away. And it's just, you know, like, it's just scary, man. And you know, it just sucks. I feel bad for Vanessa. I feel terrible for the other families as well. And one last thing that I also want to say too. I don't think that the Lakers as an organization get as much credit as they deserve, because they did right by Kobe, man. They did right by him. I know the saying now is give people their flowers while they can smell them. They gave Kobe his flowers when he could smell them, bro. Like his last year when he was retired, the homage that everybody and tributes that everybody was doing to him, he felt it. He knew that he was loved. He knew that he was appreciated. And I think that the Lakers as an organization don't get enough credit for that. You know, like the punk ass Bulls, like they don't give Jordan enough credit like he deserves. Like they need to take a page out of the Lakers book and honor that man. But I just thought that you know, that was worth saying, man. Like the Lakers did right by him. I'm grateful to have able to witness Kobe. I remember when that brother missed the shots in Utah. I remember him being drafted. We've seen that man grow from a boy to a father, man, and an outstanding father. And it just hurts, man, because you watch that brother grow, you watch him success, and you watched him die by doing the right thing. So it just hurts, man. Rest in peace to Kobe. God bless his family. God bless his children. God bless all of the victims. God bless his children. God bless his parents and his relatives and sisters and everybody, man. God bless.
So look, I'm gonna transition over to Brother Low in Cincinnati, because I know he got a lot to say. But Low, I really want to focus on his true impact, not only to the NBA and a lot of points that Dale and Manasseh hit and Fears hit, but what was his true impact to the world? Like, one thing I noticed, Low, a lot of the international players like Luka Doncic and pretty much all the international players, man, when they heard the news, man, I mean, you know, everybody talks about Jordan's legacy on the game internationally, but I think Kobe had a bigger impact on the world and globally on basketball. So Lo, just give me your thoughts on Kobe's impact to you and to the NBA and to the world.
I would say the biggest thing to me, to the rest of the world, is I think we said it numerous times. Hard work pays off. You know, I had to go back to what Drake said, but you know, you was shooting with me in the gym. You know, that's what Kobe was known for. You know, hard work, showing up before practice. You know, showing up for games, shoot around, going through his repetitions, doing what you got to do. Then he'd go to practice. You know, after that, then he put in some more work. As hard work pays off. I mean, that's anybody can appreciate people with hard work, the work ethic. You know, it's people they say getting out the mud now. You know, Kobe really get out the mud, and you know, what I'm saying nothing was given to him. You know, he had to really work for everything that he got. So anybody from United States to overseas or anyone, they can see that. There's a lot of clips that I've seen lately that when Kobe talks to the younger generation, that's all he speaks about. You know, be your best, work your hardest. You got to work at it. You got to want it. You know, that all comes back to the Mamba mentality. You know, you got to be fit up here first. You know, have to go get after it, whatever you want to achieve, and you can achieve it if you put the work in for it. So. And that's outside of basketball. I mean, that's just life in general. You know, you can be a basketball player, a hockey player, a teacher, a doctor, you know, a lawyer, whatever your profession is, whatever you want, you know, you got to be willing to put that work in each and every day. Then you have to outwork the next person next to you. You know, I mean, you got to be willing to do that. You know, that's the kill. That's the killer instinct. You know, you will not outwork me. You know, I mean, I'm going to get there. Or you come to the mountaintop with me. So everybody, like I said, I don't care what profession you're in. You know, anybody can respect that. So I mean, that's Kobe's biggest impact. And you know, for me personally, there's some goals that me and my family have set for each other, and it's like, okay, let's do it. I mean, like it's time is short. I think we kind of forget that being adults. I mean, mid-30s, 40s, however we are, you know, I think we forget how short life is until something like this happens. So I mean, you know, that position you want to work, you know, as I say, go after it. You know, that girl around the corner that you like, you know, go get her. That could be a future wife. You know, that busy one open up. I mean, opening up. But, you know, you may fail at the first time, you may fail the second time, but have that mentality to keep going after your hopes and dreams. That's the way you're going to achieve. So, I mean, mama mentality is what, you know, everybody should be seeking at this point. Because that's what made Kobe as great as he is. That's what's going to let his legacy live on, is having that mentality. So, you know what I mean? Shout out to, like you said, Vanessa, the babies, the other families. I mean, this is a tragic situation. Me personally, I deal with death a lot different than others. At a young age, I mean, I lost a father. Then I was around 10, 11, when I was 12. And in the 18-month span, I lost my grandmother, my great-grandmother, and 2 aunts. And those were like people who were living with us, you know, like really, really bringing me up. So death has always been, oh man, that's messed up, you know, keep it moving. You know what I mean? It's never really affected me so much like I see it affects others, because I mean, I've been so used to it, had to go through it. But when this happened, I mean, I really had to sit back. It was like, you know, I feel like I lost a cousin, I lost a brother. Like, you know, I didn't know Kobe at all, but it was just how it happened, man. I mean, like real tears. I mean, I'm on vacation with some of my partners. I mean, you see grown men, you know, with real tears, and it's like, man, like there's no words to describe this. None at all. It's like for my lifetime. I mean, I've seen Whitney, I've seen Mike. You know, those some legends. But this right here, this is something I'm gonna be telling my grandkids about. Like we're gonna keep Kobe's name alive. But God bless his family, man. God bless you, brothers. I mean, I don't think we tell each other we love enough. And I love you, brothers, man.
Right.
I love my family, man. We got to express ourselves, and as Dale just said, we got to start giving flowers for people here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just what it is. We don't do a good enough job of that. Anything we do. So I mean, salute to all you brothers. Salute to our listeners. I mean, let's all get behind this Mamba mentality. Love.
Chicago. G, just give us I guess an in-depth, I guess, report on when the news broke in Los Angeles, how that impacted the city, and actually how it impacted you and your family.
Yeah.
Take your time, brother. Take your time.
Get shit out, man.
Kobe was Kobe was different, man. You know, I'm not crying from tears like I knew Kobe. You know, I've got to meet him twice. You know, been around him maybe a few, a little under 10 times in my life, but to actually speak to him, twice. But that day was crazy, man, because it was, you know how you go outside sometimes and it feels like a cloud sits over the city. It was like that before I got the news. I was in my garage, I was editing. I think, I don't know, I got the text. And I went outside just to kind of, because I remember getting up and I was like, damn, it's one of them days I don't want to go nowhere. I just want to stay in the house. I want to do some work. I was starting my new job the next day. And, I probably would never say, but I'm an emotional guy at times. I'll beat somebody ass, but you know what I'm saying? I'm emotional, but it feels like the city stopped moving. You know what I mean? It was similar, in no way I want to compare what was happening with, how it felt when I got back from Donez with Nip, but it's just like the city kind of like, you couldn't hear nothing. The normal traffic, I remember getting in my car that night. I drove by the Staples Center and, people started sleeping, laying out there, making pallets or whatever, bringing things. I couldn't bring myself to get outside the car. But more importantly, I just want to kind of speak to how I always kind of view Kobe and Usher. We grew up together. I'm damn near the same age as them. So I always kind of liken the come up to them. You know what I mean? Like kind of being parallel to age group. I was coming out of high school a year after Kobe. And, it just felt like one of us, it felt like a teammate made it, So for our generation, you know what I mean? I'm from Chicago, so obviously Jordan is the GOAT. But Kobe was just different. And, I get to that. I know I'm all over the place. But I feel like Jordan, with the Olympic team, they opened up the international play, right? Got us familiar, and that's what the Dream Team did. But Kobe, Kobe kind of, took it from there. Stories, you hit in LA, bro, you hear stories all day about like, it's real when people come over here and you hit the Staples Center, the first thing that, the Asians would say, it's Kobe. That's probably one of the first words they knew or names they knew. But more, like again, like like as I was saying that day, when the news hit, I didn't want to make it about me, but Kobe, my boys play at the Mamba Academy. That's why I said I've been around him. I see what he was doing. He was pouring into them kids. And to be 2 years removed from the league and win an Oscar, bro. I don't know if y'all know how hard that is.
Take your time, bro.
Time, dog.
So Kobe had an impact, man. Kobe had his impact. I'm just happy that he got a chance to kind of change his narrative. You know what I mean? Because he was, you could see it was a different Kobe from, what people know, the what people call arrogance, but the new businessman, the new creative Kobe, the new family, well, not new family man, but the family man Kobe was a much different person. He spoke to anybody. I remember him getting his hands, in Hollywood, when the Chinese theater, when people put their hands and feet down. Y'all know
right.
That was he got it during the All-Star, like I think it was 2011. And that's when I was doing, heavy photography. You know what I mean? I was I was doing a whole bunch of like events and things of that sort. It might have been it was between 2011, 2012, whatever All-Star game that was here. And I was working as a media. I was a freelance media. Just, people would call me and go around. And because G Media isn't a E or Sports Center or anything like that, the lesser known media groups were kind of shifted off to the side.
Take your time, G. Take your time, man.
We was waiting all this time. I was getting shots from a distance, but we wanted shots up close. And if you don't, oh man, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
Nah, brother, salute to you, brother, because that shows that Kobe had a real impact on your life, brother. You know what I'm saying? And that's the impact I was bringing up earlier. Like, some guys, man, outside of basketball, just
I just want to make this one point, because so how it works when you hit the red carpet, just so y'all know, the stars have to hit the main media first. Most often, if they're in a rush, their handlers are gonna move them along. And you just asked out. But Kobe was like, nah. Let me make sure they get my
That's real right there, brother.
Get my pick. So I gotta find those pictures. They're on one of my hard drives. But that's what I remember about Kobe. My last point is I was in Wilberforce and my boy Floyd cousin is Dickie Simpkins, that used to play for the Bulls. And this is the first time I met Kobe. Well, you know, that's the hard one, but we waited around for Dickie after the game. And Kobe was waiting on a bus to get there. Like, we're still in the stadium. If you ever waited on somebody after the game, Dickie came. He had to get dressed, come out. And Kobe, I forget who else. It was a tall guy. They was dressed. And I was like, Floyd, what, you know? He's like, they bus ain't got here yet. Kobe was shooting, bro. He was on the other end of the court shooting while we was waiting on Dickie to come out. So I remember them, you know, I think that was the first game he played Mike in Chicago. So I was a part of that. I saw that game up close.
That's right, because it was probably around Christmas. So you're right. You're right.
Yep. Because Floyd came home with me for Christmas. We went to that game, and I had great seats. We were like the second row, right behind the visitor bench basketball. The court. And then we was like, Floyd was like, "Yo, can we meet Kobe?" Dickie was like, I remember that Dickie was like, "Bruh, like, I'm supposed to go down there and ask him." Floyd asked him this, obviously, because that's his cousin. And we was like, yeah. You know, he was like, "All right, we'll see." So we walked on the court. And Kobe, at that time, he turned around, "What's up?" Hit us with that, shook our hand, and kept shooting. So it wasn't like the later Kobe, you know what I mean? So that's why I said it's for me to say that, you know, I had met him was a little stretch, but I did get to shake his hand. I did get to see kind of, you know, it's crazy to see him how his work after the game in a suit. He had the sneakers on, but he had a suit on. Wow. And you know, and to be in the stadium at that time, just for me as a little kid growing up there, it was crazy. So anyway, man, I just want to say rest in peace to Kobe, all of the victims. The crushing part is, you know what I mean? Like, you know, a lot of times Todd couldn't watch all this stuff. I had to step away, and being my first week at this new gig, I just couldn't do it, bro. So, but the Gigi, man, the daughter part of it, or the kid, you know, any kid that was on it, I don't want to make it seem like a Kobe and Gigi thing, but the love for the game, you know, and seeing her play and knowing that she probably would have been great. She had already got a scholarship to UConn. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was crazy. So, my prayers go out to to the family of all the victims. And like y'all said, I'll never let Kobe's legacy die, you know? And, and here's the other part, last part. That was, I always looked at Kobe as my club. I hated when he changed his number to 24. So, yeah. So if you ever see me with a Kobe jersey,
so Nash, hey G, man, look, I'm gonna tell you something, man. That's exactly what I wanted to hear, because I mean, I couldn't imagine living in the same city of an icon like Kobe.
Yeah, man, the buses riding around with R.I.P. Kobe on the front of the, you know, the meter. Yeah. It's different, man. It's different out here.
That's crazy. Well, yeah, Nas, ask your question, man, because I'm curious to see what point you about to hit.
Well, you had said something earlier that kind of just made me think a little bit when you made the statement that you felt that Kobe's legacy was probably larger than Michael Jordan's.
Yeah.
And I just want to, my question statement maybe is more so of, you know, why do you guys think that it takes, we had the same conversation with Nipsey guys, like, why does it take death to like truly understand and appreciate the greatness of somebody that's done something? Like, because my thought is also, you know, like, you know, what if Mike passed away before Kobe? Would we be having this conversation that Kobe's legacy is better than Michael Jordan's? Or, you know what I mean? Is it just because of the timing or what? I don't, this idea that when people pass, it's like now they become immortal. It's just, just doesn't seem fair. You know what I mean? It just doesn't always
I
seem
think
fair.
I think one thing, Nas, is it's the age difference. I mean, Mike is kind of like old now, so it's kind of like if Mike passed now, I mean, we'd be tore up, but it'd be like, well, you know, he lived a great life. It's like
Right.
it's like Kobe, life's just starting. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we're kind of like he's our age, but we're growing with Kobe. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that's the big thing with that. But at the same time, I mean, I go back to a reference of, you know, of Biggie. You know, you're nobody till somebody kills you. Not that, you know, he got somebody killed him, but, you know, unfortunately, you know, we just death is something that we all have to deal with, and you know, it's like it's inevitable, and when we deal with it, people, you know, we're just conditioned to mourn it that way. And it goes back to, again, you know, Kobe did get his flowers while he was here. I mean, we definitely did that for him. But it was like,
Right.
we're at the same age with this man, and the daughter, and just the way, you know, he had the past, that it's like, it magnitudes it's so much. Like, I mean, it's like you got to give him more flowers now. It's like, I mean, the flowers will never stop.
Right.
I think the reason that you know, people, because I've seen people start saying that Kobe's the GOAT now, and people are lost in the moment. You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is when people die, you know, you start highlighting all of the great things that they've done. You know what I'm saying? And rightfully so, you know, because you wouldn't, I wouldn't know, like, I didn't know that Kobe built the Mamba Academy Center or whatever it's called.
Right.
But I know of that now because of this tragedy, because of the loss. You know what I'm saying? So personally, for me, now that I know all of it, he built the center. Why he built the center? He was instilling greatness into his children. He wanted to spend more time with his children. So in a combination of what he loved plus building the center and spending time with his kid, like I wouldn't have known any of this. So I think that a big reason for why, you know, like people start acknowledging greatness, and then like, oh, well, you know, he's doing all of these great, maybe he is greater than Jordan. But the same thing's gonna happen to Jordan when he dies. Like when he dies, they're gonna talk about the hospital that he built, and you know, unless you follow Jordan, you know that these things are happening. But to the masses, you won't know about all of the greatness until somebody dies.
So I'm gonna give Jay the last word. Jay, just from your perspective, you've heard all the testimonies of you know, of the club, because we are the Pharaohs Club. And I know basketball growing up for you, I mean, we've been knowing each other for over 20 years. Basketball for you wasn't your number one priority because you're a football based type of guy. However, I mean, Legacy give his testimony, and Nass and Lowe hit their points. Just summing up, man, I mean, for us, what I guess cherishing life means in aspects of Kobe's death.
Well, you know, to your point, like I said, I never was a basketball guy like you guys were. You know, I enjoy it, but that's a sport that never really had a team. You know, I might gravitate to a team, more so players. But even out here in little old Columbus, Ohio, man, I'm talking about, I was driving over, picking up the kids the other day, and the billboard of where the tire discounters is had R.I.P. Kobe Bryant, way out here in Columbus. White Castles, McDonald's, gas stations all got their little boards up where they announce their pricing. R.I.P. number 8 or 8% off, 24% off. And I mean, way out here in Columbus, Ohio, you know what I'm saying? Football country, football town, you know. I mean, half the people here don't even follow the Ohio State Buckeye basketball team, but just shows the impact of Kobe. But like everybody else touched on and what I also said, I mean, I think Kobe, when he gravitated later in his career, we seen him grow up, and the age with us is so similar he went from that, you know, arrogant basketball player to, you could see he encompassed a lot more than basketball as he moved on in his career, and you could see it. And then, like Nas said, with social media, you know, it brought us a lot closer to the players, specifically Kobe, and he just captured us. Plus, you have to think, as far as the international impact, he's got big-time international ties. So, you know, he grew up playing in Italy. And so people like Luka and Pau Gasol and some of these other players, they had a firsthand taste of what Kobe was doing. So then when they saw him on this stage, the biggest stage, which is the NBA as far as basketball, he did it. They like, oh man, I need to do that. I need to do that because look what he doing. And that was one thing before we go. Kobe, he idolized Jordan. He looked up at Jordan, but he wanted to take Jordan and go to the next level with it. Not just like I want to be like Mike, but I'm about to be Mike and better and be Mike on steroids. And which I feel that he was, you know. So he had a huge impact, man. Again, shout out to those girls, man. I can't stop thinking about the girls.
And Jay, just to go along with that pain that you talking about as far as the children are concerned, I think this is a good time for us to throw out the idea that we have to, as a culture and community, you know, when it comes to death, a lot of people, like Lo said, deal with it differently. But one thing that we, especially in the Black community, need to start bring forward that, like life insurance and wills and estates, things that you can be getting your affairs in order before I mean, we can't assume that you're going to make it to 60, 70 years old. You can't assume that you're going to see tomorrow. And what happens is, you know, Kobe obviously is well off. He you know, his children are not going to have to worry about anything. But, you know, for real people who deal with death and assume that you're going to come home today or tonight, it's not always the situation. And a lot of times, once that person passes, their affairs are so, that everybody thinks they know what's best. Does he want to be cremated? Does he want a real funeral? Who gets what? People are going through this, having to go through court to get the funds from their mother or father who passed away because there's no will, there's no estate, there's no life insurance policies. People have to do these GoFundMes just to bury their family members. I mean, I think that we have to start having this conversation about, yes, I'm going to die, and this is the way that I would like things to happen once that unfortunate timely passing happens. I just want to kind of get you guys a feeling on that too.
Hey, that's a good point, man.
Man, you breaking up bad, bro.
To a certain extent, life insurance and wills should be established because, again, within this past year and last year, we've had, close, brothers and friends that have lost their parents and lost their siblings and things of that sort. When it comes, like you said, and that's when it comes down to handling the business of death, right? The business of death, which is something, you can't run. You're right, man. Establishing a will, establishing a trust, or some things that your legacy financially, not only, generation from a generation, indeed, from a legacy standpoint of having kids, but just financially that you're not leaving your family in debt and things of that sort, man. That's very important, man. Again, like you said, Kobe, his kids and his wife gonna be taken care of, but man, I mean, it's so many families, man, that don't have the advantages that Kobe has, and Dale, I know you dying to chime in on this point because it kind of goes into like owning your own, establishing your own, trying to do trying to do it on using your own capital and own resources and not relying on a lot of people externally. I don't want to bring up his name, but I watched that that Breakfast Club interview with Dame Dash. You know what I'm saying? And again, I know everybody may not feel some of the stuff he's saying, but a lot of stuff he does say is true. We do need to establish our own network of things, so when we do leave things to our legacies and to the next generation of our families, you know, we're not in debt and we're not bogging them down with the burdens that we had when we were on this earth. Dale, what's your viewpoint?
I want to pass that over to Lo, man, because I know this is something Lo is super passionate about. I want to hear his point of view, wills and trust and everything, and leaving your family behind, leaving behind your family when you go.
No more chicken fries, man. No more chicken and fish fries, my brothers. My black people, no more chicken and fish and fries. We can't do that no more. It's so easy to get yourself a policy or, you know, just something, a documentation stating what you want to do with the assets you do have, or the money you do have, who gets what. Too many times you hear about Aunt Shirley passing and her kids fighting over, you know, her house, fighting over her bank account, you know, a ring, is that family heirloom? Well, hell, even, you know, who's going to take care of her debt that she left? You know what I mean? And we can get a simple policy, you know, $25, $30 a month, you know, that protect us from all this heartache and pain, because it's enough stress that we have to deal with you know, with a loved one being gone. That's treacherous, you know, and we have to get past that. Then 3 days later, we got to figure out how we gonna bury her, you know, what does she want? How does she want this? I mean, and it's really a culture thing that, you know, we're not accustomed to as African American Black people, because white people talk about death all the time because they understand we're not going to be here. You know, they talk about death, they talk about taxes, they talk about investing, you know, credit, all these things that, unfortunately, you know, that we just, you know, we're scared we're scared to have those conversations. Like, I mean,
because I really believe a lot of it too is just you know, God is going to provide, God will take care of it, we have to be smarter than that. We have to be prepared.
And also a lot of Black folks get into this thing that they feel like you got to have something, you got to have all this wealth and all these riches and houses to be able to make it. So they're like, oh, well, I ain't got no houses, I ain't really got no money, so why I have to do it? And that's not even, it's not even about that. It's about, you know, this is a way to stop the cycle, man. If you can create a policy that gives your people a little something, they can start fresh. They shouldn't be responsible for your debt. And that's how the cycle continues.
The greatest way to inherit wealth, man, is by people passing. You know what I'm saying? Like, when the reason that white people, the reason why white people are, and that's actually that's the name of my company. My company is 4 Generations Investments, because I feel like that's the gap that separates us from where we're supposed to be. Generations behind, and the reasons why we're generations behind is for this very reason. When white people die, they have inheritances, they have trusts, they have all of these things that are passed down, that are inherited, that turn these people who are just average middle class workers into millionaires. You know, so it sucks, man. All of y'all points is valid, man. Black people, our people, y'all, we are greater than this. The more you know, the better you do, man. Let's smarten up. Let's wise up. But I got a question.
So
I got a question that I really need to ask, because it's been bothering me and I can't understand it. You know, like, why is it? Because this Kobe shit doesn't seem real. It seems like every time I see the picture of him and his daughter, I just be like, damn, dog, Kobe gone. Like, it doesn't seem right. So it leads me to the question of, why does Kobe, or why does a legend of his status, all right. So why is it that a legend of his stature seems to be immortal? You know what I'm saying? And the only thing that I can come up with is, like, this is brand new to us, because all of our all-time basketball legends are still here. Bill Russell's still here. Oscar Robinson is still here. Mike is still here. You know, Jerry West is still All right. So all of those guys are still here. So, like, are these legends? Do they seem immortal to y'all too, or is this just something that is this like the new normal? We got to get used to these guys dying in order for it to not hit as hard, I guess.
I think we talked about that already. As in, we grew up with Kobe. Like if Bill Russell left us today, it'd be like, oh man, one time for Bill. But Kobe, we evolved with Kobe together, coming from high school.
But other people have died too in tragic accidents. The
Michael Jackson, Prince.
No. I'm talking about sports. I'm talking like sports athletes. I'm thinking Roy Halladay. He died tragically in a plane crash. Cedric Benson. But these are like that's like lower tier athletes. But for me, for some reason, I would feel like
you didn't grow up with Benson and Halladay. You didn't run home on a Friday to see your couch to watch Kobe time. You didn't go for cuddle on ESPN to watch Lower Marion play and watch the draft to see who's this Kobe kid coming out of
or
Philly.
Endless interviews and jump shots.
Right.
I feel like when players are like at that position or at that stature, that they are protected, that they're not as, I guess, vulnerable to these type of accidents. So I don't
agree.
No. This is the one part of life, Dale, that's super fair, bro.
I know,
and nobody, no matter how powerful,
understand it. Like I really don't know why I feel
Dale, I feel you. You're right. It seems like a plane crash or a helicopter crash is like above Kobe. Like,
yeah,
I agree. It seemed real. Yeah. No, I agree with you on that one. Like, how does it happen? Like, how does it happen to Kobe? Like, this ain't real. He gonna pop back up next week. Like,
some would say that this is a way to. This has gotten people's attention, man. This has got people really changing how they're gonna go about their lives going forward. Right. And sometimes, I don't like to get. I'm not the most Bible spiritual warrior, but sometimes that's what God does. God is going to take something that's going to capture everybody's attention to get everybody.
Very true.
And that's what's messing with me, man.
I don't know, Jay. I disagree with that a little bit.
Hold on. Someone mentioned Roy Halladay. To be honest, Roy Halladay is actually our age. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, nobody watches baseball. He didn't win
at that level, right?
And so Kobe was at the mountaintop. He had rings, so he had captured everybody's attention, and he was great. So that added to it. Plus, he played for the Lakers, which is not just a great NBA team. That's a world team, like the Yankees, like the 49ers, like the Dallas Cowboys. So everybody knows those teams. Like Geno said, Asians know Kobe. They know Lakers. They may not know everything about it, but that's why some may say that's why he was used. Because maybe we need to wake up and figure some things out. Like you said, Lo, that Mamba mentality, you need to take that into your everyday life, man, about being.
I disagree with that sentiment only because I feel like, just like Lo, I feel like I've lost too many people. And I mean, it's to me, it's just the easy way for people to cope with the idea that something so tragic has happened that, like this was meant to be. But we said the same thing when Michael Jackson died, when Whitney died, when, we need to hold on to the people that we love, and we need to hug our people more. And it's just what happens when people die. You try to put it into some kind of context so that it makes sense to you, because it just doesn't make sense. But there's no sense to be made of this. I refuse to believe like this was some higher power so that we can have some better understanding. He would have done more here on earth with these children, working with these kids, putting his brilliant mind to work than he is dead. I'm sorry. I don't agree with that shit.
Yeah, man.
I just wanted to add some.
Go ahead, G. Go ahead and chime in.
I kind of wanted to add a little perspective too, as far as the layout, as far as LA and where Kobe lived, right, in Orange County, and the traffic that happens. You could be stuck in the traffic, hours if you don't leave right. If you don't leave right at a certain time. And I'll say this, I don't want to sound morbid, but I remember thinking because Kobe would go to practice. He would take a chopper from Orange County to El Segundo, where Kendall's office is, where that's where the Lakers practice facility is, like 5 a.m, like every day. And if he wasn't, you know what I mean? So like to the game, you know what I mean? So I remember thinking like, yo, he taking these choppers like cars. And I mean, sometimes 2 a day, you know what I mean? Back and forth to LA.
Statistically.
So it was, I remember thinking this, and I hate to say it, like, damn, Cole, you just can't get in the car. This is, obviously before any of this happened, because I feel like if you do something so many times, you greater the chance of something wrong going wrong.
That's what I mean. Statistically,
do you think you were
wrong.
saying, G, that he's leaving like 5 a.m? Do you think like if he drove at 5 a.m, like
if he drove,
he wouldn't have traffic?
He wouldn't have traffic at 5 a.m. coming from where he was. But I'm talking about like his practice days. But the time that he was leaving,
isn't that kind of like the lifestyle though? Because I mean, even Kawhi Leonard said that he's used that pilot several times.
Yeah,
to use a chopper going back.
I mean, because the traffic is crazy
when you
here.
have that kind of money and power, it seems like that's just something that comes with
It's definitely a lifestyle thing. It's definitely a lifestyle thing. I just wanted to speak to. So 5 a.m. was when he was playing ball when he was a Laker.
Right.
But now those things start. It's later in the day because he don't have to get up until 10 and leave for a game for his daughter, which starts at 12. You know what I mean? It's a little different. So, but my only point to saying all this, and I'll move on, is that I just remember thinking, I just wish he would take less choppers because, since the time that he moved to Orange County to, he probably flew 1,000 times, if not more. You know what I mean? So I was always worried about that.
Newport, California.
That's had a pact with his wife Vanessa.
Hey, bros. I don't mean to cut y'all off. Hey, we're gonna take a little break. Again, for all our listeners out there, you can get at us 2 ways. You can email us questions, concerns, comments, criteria, or critique us on how we doing. It's at the Pharaohs Club Podcast at Gmail. The Pharaohs Club Pod. Once again, we thank all y'all. We're gonna get back into this Kobe thing because I think it's other aspects of this tragic death that we need to talk about that impacts our community, impacts our families, and we're bringing up some good points that need to be addressed in our communities. So we see y'all in a minute.
Keep cooking. Stone. Y'all stupid. Oh, can't believe it. Just seeing that, man. 78 to 2020, that shit just don't seem real, man.
For the first several days, I couldn't even I was getting angry. I couldn't watch anything because I would get angry at the fact that it felt like people were already talking about him in the past tense. It bothered the hell out of me. It was like already telling oh, I remember when we were in the locker room. I'm like, why are they talking about this cat like he ain't here? And already talking about him like he ain't here. It was so bothersome.
Is it just me? But when he's when they play back like his lectures or his documentaries and stuff, it seems like it's like post life. Like that shit is just.
He was bigger than life, bro. He was. He was larger than life for sure,
man. This shit just don't.
You know what also caught my ear was that listening to Tracy McGrady.
Man,
McGrady said
I heard that. I know what you're saying.
Several times that he wanted to die early in life. He did not want to get old.
Power of the tongue. That's why I respect what G says when he say him and his wife got the gray hair love. Speak that shit into existence, man. I don't talk death. I talk life. I say I'm claiming that I am going to see my me and my wife will live to see our great-grand.
Now he might have said that shit before he had kids, obviously, but
yeah, but you don't talk that shit, man.
Because it was bothering Tracy. Like you could see, he was like he always said that he wanted to die, but young, like it was bothering him for real.
All right, brothers, we coming back in to continue good positive discussion. Because again, even though Kobe has left the earth, he's in heaven, blessing us with gems. He's forcing us to talk about things that we do need to talk about. And again, I'm gonna keep focusing, just cherishing life and living life to the fullest, and making sure your family is taken care of after you're gone. Again, for our audience, you can get at us email us questions, concerns, comments at the Pharaohs Club Podcast at Gmail, and you can visit our IG page at the Pharaohs Club Pod on IG. So back to the nitty gritty. Nas, I think he was about to give us some more gems because, I know how politically correct you try to be, and you don't be trying to offend nobody and strong views. But, I mean, you touching on some good stuff, man, because I ain't going to lie, man. When we was doing the production meeting last week, I never thought about, when we added Kobe to our segment, I never thought about, how it could awaken our community in focusing on things that we need to talk about, dealing with health, wealth, and just cherishing each other while we here, man, telling each other that we love each other and all that good stuff. Give us some more gems, man, because it look like you got a pen and pad over there. It look like you've been giving this some thought. So I'm interested.
It's always life and death is always real. It's very touchy. Everybody is affected, again, like Lo said, in different ways. I feel like life is definitely, things like this take the wind out of my sails. You know what I'm saying? It's just another reminder. Like Lo said, that you just get accustomed to life happening, and this is just real stuff. You live long enough and you deal with enough pain and loss. Sometimes things just become, you get a little jaded. That's why I kind of felt this whole idea that, this was kind of meant to be somehow. It's just kind of beyond me. Him and his wife, Vanessa, didn't fly together. They made a pact that they would never fly together. I thought that was, very fascinating, that they even knew that that there's a chance, statistically, that if we both are together, that if something happens, we don't want, the kids to be without a parent. I mean, that was thought out. That was something that they sat down and had to communicate with each other. And, those are things that is, parents and people who are raising children or whatever, if you're in a marriage, that communication just has to be so key, because, life is just so short, and you just got to be able to, have at least a plan in place. So I just thought that was really, fascinating that they had that conversation and made sure that they never flew together if they could help it.
Hey, Nas.
Oh, go ahead, Lo.
I would say it's funny you say that. I have a uncle. He's in a very retired from being a very high executive with ExxonMobil, the oil company, and his family, that's always been their mantra, as in not traveling together. So I don't know if it was like kind of like an elite status, another cultural thing, maybe a pay grade thing that, people, they had that conversation, but they're the ones who got me hip to it. Like when they come in town or whatever, they all take separate flights, or someone drives or does this. I mean, they never fly together. We were always like, what do you mean I don't, fly like together? They said, well, in case something happens, we got to keep our name going on. So, yeah, it's I think it's something like to really think about, especially with people who have stature, and I will say, like, with money, like who really needs to keep the name going. I think they talk about that all the time. Like, it's another something our culture, just isn't really into yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
Wow. I never heard of that before, man. That's the first I heard of that. They actually plan on flying separately just because of, I guess.
Wow.
Right, man. That's some elite type shit right there. You know what I'm saying?
To give a little bit more context, that's what they're saying. They're saying that Kobe and Vanessa, unless they were flying as a family, they would all that's the only time that they would all fly in the helicopters. But if they're going someplace, like they would never just the two of them go on the helicopter together. Wow. It would all have to be them and obviously some of the kids or them all together, but they would never, I guess, like a double date type of thing. They wouldn't take the helicopter together. But I didn't know that was some elite shit either. I thought that was just something for him and his wife.
I don't mean to focus on the sad part of his legacy too. I mean, not the sad part of his legacy, but I mean of the tragedy itself. But man, I was watching Shaq, man, and how he was talking about Kobe, and one thing I didn't realize was he was actually about to be on the ballot for Hall of Fame induction this year, man. Like, and when Shaq was sitting there talking about how you know he's gonna miss, everybody know they. I'm not gonna say they didn't like each other, but I mean they were just so competitive as little brother and big brother that Shaq put it in perspective, man. He's gonna miss the fact that he's not gonna have the opportunity to tease Kobe about his Hall of Fame induction or congratulate him. Praise him, because Kobe definitely was going to be the marquee, inductee for this Hall of Fame class. And now, I mean, we actually gonna get cheated to that, man. I know Jordan has his famous Hall of Fame speech when he cried and said, my career's not over. I can still get out there pretty much. I kind of think when Kobe was gonna do his introduction, he was going to try to make it a little bit more spicy than Mike. You know what I'm saying? And
so let me ask you this. I mean, do you guys think that, because I was thinking about this as well, about the Hall of Fame thing. And I think that it's also unfair to the other guys who are going to be inducted with him that they are going to be completely overshadowed.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a great point.
His name being in that. Like the whole thing will be about him. And so
right.
I wonder, is it possible to just put Kobe in by itself and then everybody wait until next year?
What you think? I mean, do you think it's fair? You think the NBA can make that adjustment? I mean, what do you think, G?
I mean, you got to think about it like this. Wasn't nobody if he was alive, it still would have been about Kobe. With the people, with the people he's going in with, you know what I mean? He's still, like you say, he's still the marquee person. I actually probably will, unless I'm equal to who Kobe was in the game. I don't even know who's up for it outside of Kobe.
Facts.
So Kobe, I wouldn't even care. I probably would want to be attached to the time that Kobe, if I'm not like somebody that was as big as him, like a AI or something like that, then that's different. Although AI is already in, right? But
right.
But I'm just saying, stature-wise, I don't really know if anybody that's getting in this year is as big as Kobe.
It's Kobe, KG, and Tim Duncan. It's a heavy class.
Oh shit!
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. It's loaded this year.
I don't know
if as Kevin Garnett and Tim Duncan, you say take us in next year, like let it just be about Kobe.
Yeah,
because this is not going to be about them at all. Like this
might be one of the unique Hall of Fame inductions ever in NBA history, because like you said, you got some heavy hitters, man, like Tim Duncan and KG with Kobe. I mean, like, look, no disrespect to Kobe, but I mean, those two players alone, they're both icons in their position.
And Tim Duncan statistically is better than all of them. Like,
right. So I mean, and look, it's not a shot against Kobe's career, but I mean, you got a good point, Nash. You got a great point. Another thing, like, so this logo change, currently a Laker is the logo. Mr. West himself that actually found Kobe and drafted Kobe, or made the actual.
Allegedly, he never.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, but
he's never formally claimed to be the official logo. But go ahead.
Right. Facts. But how do y'all feel about Kobe, I guess, gracing the NBA logo going forward? If that
change
was
the logo.
Change it. Okay.
Change the logo. Stop playing with it. Change the logo. Even if, honestly, it's for All-Star Weekend. It's got to be changed. Like, just they got to make. Excuse me. This commissioner has not made it. Have y'all heard a statement for this commissioner yet? Am I just like blind to this?
He released a statement.
But it wasn't impactful though.
Okay, so exactly. So he has to make some type of splash, some type of statement that really is going to honor this man, Kobe Bryant, and what he's done. And it's so simple. I say to do an All-Star Weekend in 2 weeks, change the logo for the weekend, to give it back to the unofficial Jerry West logo. But you got to do something with the logo. You have to, man.
They honoring Kobe for the All-Star. They're changing the format. It just don't seem like that's enough.
Thank you. Exactly. It's not enough.
Well,
I would agree with changing the logo, but after, I agree with the arguments of why the logo will not change. You can't. The NBA is not going to admit that this logo is Kobe Bryant, because then they're going to have to pay him for his likeness. And then, the question becomes how much, and what is his likeness worth? And they're not going to pay him for that. They're not going to.
They're not going to admit the logo is Jerry West.
Right. Jerry West to this day has never been paid for his likeness.
This shit is big business. You know what I'm saying? It's always money over morality.
Gangster business too.
But check this.
That's gangster that he knows that that's him, but he has never been paid for.
Now here's the thing. Now they could use Kobe's logo, but they would need Vanessa and his would need to sign off. They would need to sign off on it to say like, hey, we don't want anything from this. But Kobe, he's definitely worthy. So if his wife was to sign off on it, do y'all think that that's a viable solution, or do y'all think that the Bryant should get paid? Is a statement.
No, the money. It's not about the money. It's about the statement. That's what I'm saying. Who cares about here's $1 million, put it in the logo. They're not worried about the money. They're worried about 50 years down the line that this man Kobe Bryant is still being recognized and revered as he is now. Yes.
I think you also forget.
That's a good point. The point. However, but we just talked about the estate and how you know what I'm saying when somebody dies, the family gets into this selfish mode that like opportunities like the logo comes up and I'm not saying Vanessa is vindictive or anything like that, but that's her husband. Like I'm gonna give you a perfect example. Hold on, y'all. So we're all brothers, right? Y'all know Alpha Fraternity, our fraternity, had a very, very nasty suit with the MLK Memorial for years because of elements like Coretta. Because Coretta felt like if my husband is going to be immortalized on the mall in DC, how are y'all going to go above my head to use his likeness? Hire a designer to design his face and all these aspects of her husband's legacy, right? And she actually gave us a hard time in giving us the rights to actually do the MLK Memorial in DC. So to relate it back to Kobe, Lo, you're right. I mean, the NBA does need to make a statement and just do it. However, legally, it's going to be a fight because, again, every time she looks at that logo, man, she might feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? And be like, man, look.
It ain't even about her. I think the NBA is not going to do it, man.
As a conservative, I consider myself like a conservative capitalist, and I'm sorry.
Oh, shit.
I need every dime of what I'm worth.
Every dime,
you know what I'm saying?
Like, did this dude call himself a what?
A conservative capitalist.
Black Republican.
Black Republican. Cue it up.
I need every dime of what I'm worth, nigga. Because ain't no telling what happened.
All I heard him say is he's voting for Trump. That's all.
Nah, I definitely ain't voting for Trump. But I mean, shit, nigga, I'm about that change. I'm about to bag. But I will. Who knows what's gonna happen with my assets and things falling apart, nigga? That logo can take care of my family 5-10 generations down the line. I need every dime.
If they ain't paying Jerry West, they ain't paying Kobe.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, let me say this. They need to make a NBA outside of the All-Star Weekend. They need to make a bigger statement of how we're going to mourn Kobe. That's
Okay.
all. I'll keep it at that. I'll keep it as that.
The logo idea, I think, is great. I would be all for changing the logo, but just knowing that they done played Jerry West all this time, it ain't happening.
Terrible.
How do y'all see this shit playing out, like for the actual memorial, man? Because I feel like they got to shut the league down for like at least 3-4 days. Because
they've already done it, though. I mean,
y'all niggas.
No, he has to. I don't think.
I mean, they've already done it, man.
No, he's
Y'all
gonna have. They talking about having his memorial at the Coliseum because it seats 90,000 people.
Rose Bowl, baby. We went to the Rose Bowl. We went to the Rose
Bowl,
baby.
They want to have it
Rose Bowl, baby.
Because the entire NBA, the
world.
The world, but I'm just saying, but I'm talking about they have to shut down the NBA for days because the players who are active in the league gonna want to attend.
Yeah, but the thing is, they've already done that for the last week. That's what Nass is saying. Like at some point,
but why are they saying? They're saying that the Staples Center is too small. They're saying he can't have a memorial. They got to have it at a football stadium that seats almost like a 200-something thousand people because they. I think they're anticipating that the NBA players are going to come. Not only the current NBA players, but the past NBA players, coaching staff, and everything. So I can't see it no other way. I feel like they got the games down for a few
days. Look, I just feel bad from Adam Silver, man. He got a monumental task ahead for the next month and a half, for the next year.
I think they've done a good job so far, though. I mean, to change the whole
NBA All-Star format,
All-Star Weekend format, from everybody wearing his jersey to changing the entire format of the game. That you got to equal up 24 before you can win the game. I mean, I think those are all wonderful things to make that whole weekend about Kobe. I mean, that's a lot. I think. So
look, since I'm the resident sneakerhead, on the group. On this podcast,
I'm about to start talking about tennis shoes again.
Geno, man, look, no, and this actually is related to Kobe, man. Which man, it kind of about this, which I don't agree with, but I do agree with. But the hype beast aspect of Kobe now dealing with the sneaker game, man, it's been crazy. I don't know if y'all heard, man. Nike had to actually stop selling Kobe paraphernalia and products because, man, the resale and hype beast of Kobe's
that was false.
I mean, t-shirts, shoes. That was false. But the Nike aspect,
of the Nike, that was false.
They said it actually they sold out. Originally, it came out, to give context to the people that are listening. The story was that Nike had to pull down all of the merchandise because they were afraid that resellers were going to hike up the cost.
And they are.
But that isn't actually what happened. They came back and said that the merchandise actually just sold out. So before they re-release it, they're going to, I guess, do it in a different kind of way. But
correction. Thank you for the clarity. No, my bad. A little fake news, my bad. But however, I was trying to cop me a pair of Kobe's because Geno knows I don't own a pair of Kobe's in my closet. So
me either. I was gonna get me some too.
I felt some type of way, man. I couldn't even look. I went to all of the joints, even the international joints, man. And like cats on the resale market on StockX and Gold and Stadium Goods and all these other platforms, man, they hype beast and look, no disrespect to Kobe, rest in heaven. But some of the weakest versions of Kobe shoes that cats would never wear are going for like $250, bro. Like $250, $500 for a pair of Kobe's that normally that would go for maybe about $100, maybe about $90, man. So how do y'all feel about that? Like,
in this type of situation, it's always gonna come up.
Yeah, is it Naz? That's where I was going. Any tragedy, someone's always coming up on the back end. I don't care where you. I don't care what it is. If it's Katrina, if it's if it's Kobe's death, there's somebody who said, okay, Kobe plane went down. They said, all right, how can we make some money off of this? I mean, that's their job. It's unfortunate, but that's what they call. I forgot what they call. I don't say ambulance chasers, but that's the lawyers. But there are people like that in the world who come off of tragedies every single day.
Absolutely.
Hey, Geno, give me some insight on this, because I heard that after the crash and after they did a forensic, they did a forensic review of the crime scene, not the crime scene, but the crash scene. It was actually people going out there to get pieces of the actual helicopter, bro. Is that true?
They had to stop. Yeah, they had to stop, cut off around the perimeter so people couldn't get in.
I was like, how is it that they were even getting in? I mean, it wasn't a crime scene, but this was a crash that needed to be preserved so that it could be investigated. How did they even let people in there?
It's nature. It's a mountain.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a mountain cliff. It's like if you think of like a reservation area, there's so many entries, you know what I mean? For people to get there. You know, they would have to have somebody man the actual pieces, until they cleaned everything up. So it was a way in there. I mean, because that was right behind people's cribs. People walk and hike those places.
Okay.
You know.
So hey man, we spent pretty much the whole podcast to tribute to Kobe.
Really so.
I want to just end off on the positive notes. We usually take parting shots in our goodbye segment, but we could just change the tone and just I guess our parting shots can be more of what's on your mind, and if you want to relate it to Kobe or not, you can. But again, I'll start off with just saying, like, man, again, like I said at the beginning of the cast, that Kobe's death is a lesson to all, to cherish life. 1, 2. I never knew how much influence he had on the world and on basketball and just in sports in general. We didn't really touch on this, but Kobe was a true champion of women's athletics. I know that WNBA doesn't get a lot of publicity credit, and it's not funded as vastly as the NBA is. So a lot of people don't know Kobe was really champion the WNBA. I know he was an avid, and G, you can back me up on this. He was an avid Sparks fan. He during their downtimes and their championship year. So big salute to Kobe, man. Much love to you in heaven, brother. I know you up there with Pac and Big, you know what I'm saying, for champion women's athletics, because we don't really give the women a platform to show their talents also. And I'm gonna send it over in order to Nash, your parting shots or final words on the Kobe topic.
Yeah, just again, cherish life. It's very short. Things that things that we worry about and put a lot of attention on and energy on is usually things that we probably don't even need to be putting that energy and attention on. To me, the only thing that really matters in life is life, living life, and loving, and trying to experience all of that with the 5 senses we've been given by the Creator. Going after the bag and all of that is all good because you got to have money to live. But again, I said earlier, just the one thing about life that's super fair is that everybody got to come and everybody got to go. And it doesn't matter about power and prestige and money and all of that. Steve Jobs and all these guys are trillionaires. It don't matter. You got to go. Somebody at some point. And so, I think that we all it would behoove us to just love the people that we claim that we love them hard, love them good. The friendships and the relationships that we claim are important to us, that we try to cultivate those and try to make sure that we tend to those and tell the people that we love them and tell them how we feel about them without, and so that there's not a whole lot of regret when people are gone and taken from us, because it's going to happen. And we're all of that age. I'm 44 years old. And my parents were just here this weekend. Shout out to mom and dad. My dad is 88 years old, and my mom is 82. And so, time is of the essence, you know what I'm saying? So you try to have that FaceTime, you hug hard and smell them and take pictures, visual pictures with your eyeballs and video camera, and so that you can hear their voice when they're gone. But this is what life is, man. And so prepare yourself for these kind of moments, especially the older you get, because we're going to lose people. It's just be best that you do the best you can to live the best way you can. You know, love hard, live hard, and when it's gone, you know, it's just what it is.
Thank you, Nas. All right, G, I'm gonna save you for last since you are a resident LA expert and TMZ extraordinaire. Lo, you go ahead, man. Give us some gems to end off.
That birthday party, show up. That family reunion, show up. That dinner that your cousin's doing to get the family together once a month, show up. Because when they're gone, it ain't gonna be no more dinners. You know, I'm been in a blessed family where, you know, we have family dinners once a month, family gatherings once a month, and you know, we do everything we can to show up. Other families don't do that, but it's important. If you're out there, you can get your family together. Just get ice cream together. Do that. You know, we all have kids, but we have to show them how we should, you know, love on one another, because I mean, tomorrow's not promised. It's been a tragedy. It's been definitely eye opening, but also at the end of the day, it's about it's a reset. You get that mama mentality back, you know, and go after those things that you always want, so you can get your roses and give your roses while you're here, because tomorrow's not promised. Like I said, I love each and every one of you guys. I mean, wholeheartedly, and I know you love me. But let's we always do more. Let's just commit to doing more for our families, you know, more for our communities, and just being difference makers, you know, out here. Manly deeds, scholarship, love for our mankind. That's all I got.
Hey, man, I appreciate that, Lo, man. You hit it right on the head, man, because college days do swiftly pass. I'm gonna send it over to Dale to give us some jewels also. Dale's, man, hit us with something, man, you know. I mean, yeah, this is real stuff, man.
Yep. I'm reading this book by Ryan Holiday. It's called Stillness is Key. And it's actually relevant to this tragedy. You know, it's about just being able to be still, man. Just enjoy life. Just being able to enjoy life. You know, we so busy chasing the bag. We so consumed with our careers. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not focusing on the precious things in life. You know what I'm saying? So, man, love your kids, man. Hug your kids tight. Love them kids, man. Love your wife. Love your family. Your people out there that y'all out there holding grudges, man. Let that shit go. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Gibbs, man. I don't hold grudges because my hand's too busy catching blessings. You know what I'm saying? Like, go out here and love these people. Tomorrow ain't promised. Live life, enjoy life. Rest in peace to Kobe. Rest in peace to all of the victims. And man, God bless that brother's his parents, man, because it's nothing worse than having to do what they're doing. They're burying their son, and as far as I know, they're burying their son when they were on bad terms, and that just that just pierces my soul, man. So life is short. Focus on life. The other material shit, the money chasing, the career chasing, all that shit is bullshit, man. What matters the most is life, man. That's why I always say on the group, live life, because that's what we got to do, man. Live life. You only get one. Live the hell out of it.
Thank you, brother McKinnley. And lastly, we're gonna give it up to Big G, 8th wonder in the world. I just want to tell you, G, man, you sharing that you know, your experience with Kobe earlier. I never knew that, you know. I mean, we family, and you never told me none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to thank you, man, for sharing that, brother. That's really impactful. That's deep. Give us your last words on the topic, and we can transition on out, brother.
Yeah, man, I just want to say that I'm thankful for the time that we had with Kobe. You know what I mean? And I think what's more speak to his legacy is the mentality that he left behind. I think that'll be that's a beautiful legacy to leave behind. Obviously, his beautiful girls. I've had concerns about him not having a son, so his last name could live on. That's been a question of mine. But that is not for me. That's not for me to wanted something more for him when he was so blessed. But yeah, man, I just want to say, like Lo said, I love y'all. I try to tell y'all that as much as I can. I'm in touch with that, and I'm okay with that. Me telling another man that I love him as often as I think about it. But it's funny, man, because a fraternity brother, me and him had some issues. He attended my event the other night, and he wanted to talk to me yesterday, so we can clear the air. So I think that's stuff like this is already kind of changing and having an effect on my life. Moving forward, I'm a positive guy. Try to keep it in that energy, man. So I think this is only just gonna make me, try to get those things off of me. I don't want nothing bad or opportunity for somebody to say that they didn't get a chance to figure out, whatever differences we had out with me. God forbid something happen. And lastly, I hug my kids, tell them I love them and kiss them every day. Probably gonna double that up. Yeah, man. I'm thankful that we got this out, man, because it was therapeutic. I was wondering how we was gonna face it, but I'm glad we did it, and I think this ended up better than I could ever imagine and hope.
Thank you, Brother G. Yeah. So lastly, listeners, you can get at us email, any comments, questions, concerns at pharaohsclubpodcast@gmail.com. Go to IG, like us, add us at the Pharaohs Club Pod on IG. And when we post these podcasts, man, we need those comments and that feedback too on YouTube. You can subscribe to our podcast via YouTube. Again, we want to wish Kobe, his family, and all the other victims of the tragedy, blessings and prayers. And we got some heat coming soon for y'all for my Wilberforce University alumni audience and current students. We got some big things coming pretty soon.
Yeah.
Please stay tuned. We got some heat coming for y'all in regards to Dawn Dance. So thank you very much. God bless, love, peace, and soul to everybody. And we see y'all next time. Pharaohs Club, out.